Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's Explainer. I am so thrilled to be guiding you through a topic that honestly sounds a little bit bureaucratic at first glance, but is actually incredibly powerful. We're talking about mastering free access to Gwinnett County property records. Whether you're a curious homeowner, a prospective buyer doing some heavy due diligence, or just someone who wants to understand how local real estate data actually works, well, you are definitely in the right place. By the end of our time together today, you're going to have a complete one-stop roadmap for navigating the county's digital archives like an absolute pro. We're going to uncover the secrets of pretty much any property, and the best part, we won't be spending a single dime. We've all been there, right? You type an address into a search engine hoping to find out who owns a piece of land, what the tax history looks like, or what the official property boundaries even are. And within seconds, boom, you're bombarded by third-party websites promising this comprehensive background report if you just enter your credit card information. But here is the secret. Those sites are literally just scraping public data and charging you a massive premium for it. Why pay a third party when the exact same data, straight from the source, is completely free? The public records infrastructure in Gwinnett County, Georgia is available to anyone 24 hours a day. The trick is simply knowing exactly where to look and how to interpret what you find. Okay, let's dive into this. Here is our roadmap for today. 1. Gwinnett Records Overview. 2. The 3 databases. 3. Using the GIS map. 4. Interpreting records. 5. Troubleshooting. And finally, 6. Final tips and a quick disclaimer. Let's start with Section 1, Gwinnett County Records Overview. If you have ever tried to find everything about a property in one single click and totally failed, hey, it's not your fault. The system just isn't built that way. The core challenge here, and really the whole reason this explainer exists, is that Gwinnett County operates on a decentralized administrative network. Basically, that means there's no single magic database that perfectly consolidates all the physical, legal, and financial data into one neat little page. Instead, the county divides its property administration across several specialized departments. So to get a complete, actionable profile of a property, you kind of have to act like the digital detective, stitching together puzzle pieces from different offices. But once you understand the architecture of this network, navigating it becomes incredibly straightforward and, again, entirely free. Moving right along to Section 2, the 3 administrative databases. And this brilliantly illustrates how the county divides things up. You've got 3 key departments to know. First, you have the Gwinnett County Board of Assessors. Their portal, gwinnettassessor.com, is where you'll go for fair market appraisals, physical property cards, and land use classifications. Essentially, they tell you what the property is and what it's worth. Second, we have the Tax Commissioner. Over at gwinnettaxcommissioner.com, you access real-time tax billing status, historical tax statements, and delinquent accounts. They track the money owed. And finally, there is the Clerk of Superior Court. These guys handle the official recording of permanent land records, meaning deeds, liens, plats, going all the way back to 1871. Their records are actually indexed statewide through the Georgia Superior Court Clerks Cooperative Authority, or the GSCCCA website. So, to do a truly thorough property check, you're going to want to follow this chronological workflow across those 3 platforms. Step 1, always start at the assessor's site. Search the address to find the parcel identification number, confirm the current owner, and just look at the physical characteristics. Step 2, take that information right over to the Tax Commissioner's portal to ensure there are no unpaid tax bills or surprise levies hanging around. Step 3, head on over to the GSCCA portal. Using the recording numbers you might have found on the assessor's property card, you can pull the actual legally binding deeds to verify ownership history and check for any recorded security deeds. All right, Section 3, using the GIS map. Now, what's really interesting about this next visual is that you are looking at the macro view of the county's free Geographic Information Systems, or GIS, mapping interface. And let me tell you, this isn't just a basic map, it's a robust interactive database. Along the top, you have various layout themes and search options. On the left, you can control the map components, and on the right, you zoom and navigate. For buyers, investors, or honestly just curious neighbors, this map helps you visually confirm boundaries and see a property's context within its neighborhood, rather than just trying to decipher a dry, boring legal description. Let's zoom in on those specific search widgets at the top of the map interface. You actually have multiple ways to find what you are looking for. Over on the left, we see the address search UI. It's usually as simple as typing in a street address. But if an address search is being super finicky, which, happens all the time with newly developed lots or strange street abbreviations, you can use the parcel ID search UI shown on the right. The parcel ID, or PIN, is a totally unique number assigned to every piece of land. Searching by PIN is absolutely the most precise way to pinpoint a location on this map without ever having to worry about whether street is spelled out completely or abbreviated as ST. Once you've successfully located a property, the real magic happens over in the layer list. You can toggle on different map layers to reveal all sorts of hidden details. For instance, you can turn on the zoning layer to see the legal restrictions on how a property can be used, like is it strictly residential, commercial, or maybe agricultural. You can enable topography to see the physical lay of the land, which is absolutely crucial if you're worried about steep drops or flood zones. You can even overlay administrative areas to see specific voting districts or school zones. It's just an incredible way to verify those paper appraisal details against the physical realities on the ground. Moving on to Section 4, Interpreting Appraisals and Deeds. First up in this section, let's bust a very common point of confusion you will definitely see on the assessor's property cards. You're often going to see two different numbers, fair market value and assessed value. Now, the fair market value is what the county believes the property could reasonably sell for in the current market. However, your taxes are not based on that number. In Georgia, the assessed value is strictly set by law at exactly 40% of the fair market value. So to put that into perspective, if a home has a fair market value of $500,000, its assessed value for tax purposes will be $200,000. Bottom line, do not mistake the assessed value for an estimated sale price. Next up, when you're looking at records on the Clerk of Court's GSCCA portal, you're going to encounter a bunch of different types of deeds, and it's critical to know the difference. A warranty deed is the actual document that outright conveys ownership from a seller to a buyer. It offers the strongest guarantees that the title is totally clear. On the other hand, because Georgia is what's called a title theory state, a security deed is used when someone gets a mortgage. A security deed secures the loan and actually conveys the title to the lender until the debt is totally paid off. Also, definitely keep an eye out for a PT-61 form. Any deed that transfers ownership for value requires this tax form, which legally discloses the consideration, or the exact price paid. So, the absolutely crucial point here is this. Looking at deeds alone is just not enough. You also desperately need to be aware of the general execution docket. This is a completely separate index maintained by the Clerk of Superior Court. And why does it matter? Because this is exactly where money judgments become attached to a property as liens. If someone loses a lawsuit and owes money, that judgment, which is known as a FIFA, gets recorded right here. A simple deed search might show totally clear ownership, but completely miss a massive financial encumbrance hiding over on the general execution docket. Always, always check the docket. All right, Section 5, Troubleshooting Common Search Issues. The most common reason users get super frustrated and just assume a record doesn't exist is simply due to address formatting. These database systems are extremely literal and they require exact formatting. Very often, using an abbreviation when the system expects the full word will cause your search to fail entirely. So typing 123 Main Street with a period or 123 Main RD might yield 0 results, whereas typing 123 Main Street will instantly pull up the property card. If your initial search comes up totally empty, please don't give up. Use these quick, practical workarounds. First, try searching using only the street name, like literally just typing Main. It's going to give you a longer list, sure, but you can easily scroll to find your specific number. Second, like we touched on earlier, just bypass addresses altogether and search by the parcel ID. Third, if you're searching by an owner's name, try variations. The system relies on exactly how the legal name was entered on the deed, so John A. Smith might actually be listed as J. Allen Smith. Finally, make sure you account for administrative lag time. If a property was just sold yesterday, that brand new deed hasn't been processed by the Clerk of Court yet. The data might look outdated simply because the paperwork is literally still moving through the system. And finally, Section 6, Final Tips and Disclaimer. When you are conducting your research, especially if you are navigating there from a generic search engine, you must always verify you are on the correct site. Look for the official Gwinnett County government seal or ensure the web address is actually one of the official portals we just discussed, like gwinnettassessor.com or gscca.org. Remember, those third-party aggregation sites might not have the most recent appraisal data or deed recordings. Sticking to the official county portals is literally the only way to guarantee the data is current and verified. It is also super important to understand the terms of use here. The county provides these digital tools, map overlays, and databases strictly for personal, non-commercial use. This public access is an incredible resource that's basically designed to promote an informed citizenry, allowing individuals to verify their own property values, perform real due diligence before a big real estate purchase, or simply understand their local tax assessments better. It's a tool for transparency, right? It's not meant for mass commercial data harvesting. Now, as a quick heads up, while these county databases aim to provide accurate and totally up-to-date information, local procedures, tax laws, and even the database interfaces themselves can change over time. So users should always verify the details independently. Furthermore, if you happen to uncover a really complex lien on the general execution docket or some tricky boundary issue on the GIS map, you should definitely consult with a legal professional, a title examiner, or the local authority for your specific situation. This explainer is highly educational, but it definitely doesn't replace expert legal advice. You now have the exact blueprint to bypass those annoying paywalls and access an absolute wealth of physical, legal, and financial data for free directly from the source. You know how the assessor, tax commissioner, and clerk of court operate. You know how to read the maps and decode the heavy jargon in the deeds. So I'm going to leave you with this question. What hidden details will you discover about your property or your neighborhood today? Go test out the Gwinnett County property search tools, apply exactly what you've learned here, and empower yourself with real information. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and happy researching.